reminder. All right, everyone, we are recording and we're just going to pretend like I just started talking. If you don't want your face to be on camera, you can mute your webcam, but just know that you might be on the recording. Sweet. So this is Gratavid. I just logged in, and when you log into Gratavid, remember there's three main sections. There's your notes section. I really like to think of notes as my campaigns, and if you're familiar with like MailChimp or Constant Contact, or really any email system, think of this as your campaign section right here. We'll come back to that. You also have your video section. This is where any video you've recorded or requested lives. And then you also have your contact section. This is where you can import contacts in bulk, add them one at a time, or if you're using NXT or Salesforce, you can even import contact lists directly from here. Really, the only time you ever want to deal with contact section is when you want to send a Gratavid in bulk and you need to send it to say 3,000 contacts or 5,000. First, you'd want to come in here and import that list. If you're just sending Gratavids one at a time, you really don't need to spend much time in the contact section. You can do that all through the task list. But no need to remember that, and I'll show you what this looks like. Let's have some fun. On the notes section right here, I'm going to add a note. Let's say, thank you for attending training. Nice. Looks like I spelled everything right. We've got the date wrong. Sweet. So I'm just creating a note. Again, think of this like my Gratavid campaign. It's going to be like, hey, Giving Day, thank you. Or you could just have like a generic thank you after donations. Think of this as you're going to set up this campaign. I've created the campaign. I'm on this page, created the note. And then this is going to be your edit campaign, edit note page. So again, if you're familiar with MailChimp or Constant Contact, this should be your mental model. Think of this as where you're editing those MailChimp Constant Contact campaigns. Over here on the right, this is where I have a nice preview section of what I'm designing. Over here on the left, this is where I can edit this information. So what I can do is I can kind of make my way down this list. I can change the sender name. We'll pick on Frank. Customize this. I can come right here. I can change the message template. So thank you. Insert a merge field. Maybe say something like, we appreciate you attending today's training. Maybe add a smiley face right there. Again, make that message whatever you want it to be. Next is the videos section. This is really the star of the show when it comes to Gratavid. So I can record a video from here. I can grab a video from my library. There we go. How about this one? Or hey, why not? Let's do both of them. And then my favorite thing is you can request videos directly from Gratavid. So I'm gonna click request new video. Frank, I'm gonna pick on you. 21st, thank you. Probably is your 21st time thinking so on all these things. So I meant the day 21st. So I'm gonna request a video. In my opinion, this is really the most powerful feature of Gratavid. What this allows you to do is request thank you videos from your leadership team, from board members. Use it to collect testimonials so you really can bring your donors to the scene. It's funny, we were just talking to someone who works for a museum, and they use their request features to collect videos from the people that are managing the new activities. They had the example of like King Tut was rolling into one of their museums, and so they sent a video request as they were, maybe it wasn't King Tut, or yeah, I guess that'd be really fancy, but something like that, some mummy. And they were rolling that in, and they used the video request to collect videos as they were kind of, as they were shipping that museum artifact into the museum behind it. So it's just a really cool way of kind of bringing your donor to the scene of otherwise something they would have never seen. So that's what video request does. I'm going to fill this out. I'm going to say Frank Mumford is my recorder. I'm going to say thank everyone for attending today. So I'm going to add some directions. I could even add bullet points. I can mention Will's dog, Rue. If I can spell. Again, so make these directions whatever you want it to be. And then what you can do is you could share this upload link. If I could copy that, share it directly with Frank. However, my favorite thing to do is to share it via text. So Frank, what is your cell number?
651-307-1787. And please, no one send me to the tax collectors or the auto warranty people. I get enough phone calls.
I love it. So what it's going to do is it's going to send Frank a video request. Sometimes it goes through instantly. Sometimes it can take a few minutes. But then on Frank's phone, he's going to be able to get this text, click the link, and then right from his phone, he can record that message. Best part about this is Frank doesn't have to log into Gratavid, so he doesn't have to be a member of my account. He doesn't have to remember a password. So it's just a really easy way for him to, or for Gratavid, for you to collect videos. And then it's great thing is it's going to have all your branding. So we just use Fayetteville University as an example, but it's going to be in your colors. It's going to be that recorder's name and then their directions right there. So it's just a really great way to record videos and to bring your constituents to the scene. Cool. So while we wait for that to come in, I'm going to go work my way down. The next section right here is the send to section. So this would be if you've already imported a contact and you wanted to send this video out in bulk, you'd simply just select that list right here, top donors, or for sake of this demo, I'm just going to send it to myself, Will Trap. If you have texting enabled, you can simply click right there and you can set it up to send this via text. Next is your call to actions right here. But before I do that, I see I got a video in. I love it, recognize that guy. So that's how easy it is to collect these videos. The great thing about this is you can watch it, you can review it. If maybe Frank pronounces the constituent's name wrong, you can delete it and resend it. We had a funny example from one of our universities. A student recorded a donor thank you in a tank top, and they were like, "Come on!" They're like, "Resend that," and they're like, "Please don't wear a tank top." So it's nice to know that you always have that final review before your constituents, before your donors are going to watch it. It makes it really easy to resend it. You even can edit these in here, and if needed, you can generate closed captions right from within Gratavid. Nice thing about captions is you can generate captions in whatever the speaker's language is in. So if they speak in Spanish, you can generate the Spanish captions, and then you can convert them to over 100 different languages. So if you do want to add Chinese captions or Hebrew captions or Spanish captions, you can do that directly from within Gratavid. Cool. So we're working our way down. We added myself. We can add call to action buttons. So imagine you want to say something like donate now. Although I'm not super crazy about donate now, it's definitely possible. You can say something like learn more. Maybe you add a blog post of one of your constituents' interests, or if it's emissions, you can say something like next steps. So just a lot of functionality with what you can do with these buttons. A really popular use case now that hopefully your area's opening up is we've seen a lot of people using Gratavid to book use Gratavid to book in-person meetings. So using a tool like Calendly or some kind of scheduling tool to send out Gratavids and say, hey, Frank, wanted just to catch up with you. Things are opening back up. Wanted to know if you had any interest grabbing coffee or grabbing lunch. So use Gratavid as a way to kind of catch your constituents' attention and then ask them to book some time and get coffee or get lunch or something like that. Sweet. Hey, Britt, do you mind posting that blog post in the Zoom chat now that I think about it? Nice. So we did a blog post on someone that's had success using Gratavid to book more demos. Using Gratavid to book more in-person meetings. Cool. That's call to actions. Showed you that. Another cool section is branding. So you can upload a custom image per campaign, or you can change the background image. For example, I like this video of the confetti. So now that I've changed this, I can come up here and I can preview this and I can see my background image is completely changed. And so confetti might not be the best example, but imagine that's a picture of your facilities, or maybe if it's a holiday theme, Gratavid, or Thanksgiving's coming up, you have some pumpkins back there. So anything you want it to be, although that'd probably be Halloween, maybe turkey for Thanksgiving. Anyway, you get the point there. Awesome. Next is email settings. Just like you'd expect if this was MailChimp or Constant Contact, you can come in here, you can change the email subject, you can change who it's sending from. Same thing with text, you can change that. And then a lesser known feature, which is one of my favorites, is you can automatically resend Gratavids if they're not open. So this is a newer feature. And you can say, hey, resend this in 3 days or 1 day or 4 days. And then the key to this is just know that Gratavid's going to send it as a plain text email. It's going to help you beat spam and beat promotion folders. And then this is where you can kind of customize what you want that plain text email to look like. So we'll default to just making sure you got my video, but you can change that if you want to. Sweet. So that is Note for the most part. Can come up here, looks good. Let's actually add Frank up front. There we go. I can send this now. I can even schedule it if I want to, but I'm just going to click send now and send that to myself. Sweet. So I just sent that. It'll take a few seconds to process, sometimes a few minutes to go through. But then if I wait just a second, I will be able to see in my email what we just sent. If you send a lot of emails, maybe more than 1,000, just know it can take a few minutes for them all to go through, but you'll see them processing right here. Excellent. I just got an email from Frank. Love it. So this is what the donor, what the constituent experience is going to be like in your inbox. So your contact's going to open your inbox, click on this, much more engaging than a typical email. And then it's going to take them to that page we designed. I can come right here. I can listen to it, go to the second video, third video, and then finally here's a video that we uploaded. So maybe this is something like, I love it. How can I give more? And so the reply section just makes it really easy for your contacts to engage and to reply. And the main thing to know about the reply section is it's completely private. So it's just going to be a conversation between you and that donor. It's not going to be like some Facebook forum where everyone can see it right here. And then what Gratavid does is it essentially moves this conversation over to email. And so if I open up my email right here, and now I can see I've got a email from Will Trapp, which was that donor, that contact's name. And they said, how can I give more? And if I simply want to reply back to Will, I simply just click reply right here. And then now I'm going to be in a private email conversation with that donor. So it's just a really simple way to kind of continue on that conversation in a format you're familiar with. Go ahead.
Will, there is a question. I kind of answered it, but I wanted to throw it back at you. Do you have any data on best amount of time to select to do the automatic resends?
I think 3 days is good. It really depends on the context of it. So for example, I use auto resends a lot when we send out like tech feature updates. I just kind of default to 3 days, but sometimes you might have an event coming up where that event is in 3 days. And so you need to send that, imagine the event's on Thursday and you send this Gratavid out on Tuesday, then you're going to have to send it that next day. But the big reason that the auto resend exists is for spam and for promotions. So this is a little bit technical, and so don't pay super close attention to this. You don't have to do anything with it. When we first send a Gratavid, it looks like this, and technically this is an HTML heavy email. HTML is just like the fancy code that provides the branding, the colors, and the image and all that. It's an HTML heavy email. If you ever get an email from like Walmart or Old Navy or Amazon that's like, hey, buy this product or buy that product, that's also an HTML heavy email because it has all the pictures. And so what Gmail does and a lot of others is they will move those marketing emails into a promotions folder. And the way they detect this is if it's HTML heavy. So sometimes Gratavids can get flagged as promotional because it's got this, what they consider promotional heavy, this HTML heavy content. What the auto resends do is they resend it as just a plain text email. So you're kind of lose all this great branding, all this great messaging, and it really looks like a email that came from you. And those always beat the promotions folder because they don't have all this heavy HTML formatting in there. So the resending is really about just helping you beat spam and helping you beat the promotions folder. That's really the key benefit. But again, to answer your question, it depends on context. Like a thank you video, there's really not that important that it gets seen the next day or the next day. I think 2 or 3 days is totally fine. If you need it out for an event, then of course you want to resend it that next day.
And one thing to add too is there's the difference in when you're sending from the note level versus the task level. When Will gets into the task level, he'll revisit the auto resend, but at the note level, it's if they don't open it. And then at the task level where you're going to do one-to-one, that's if they don't watch it. So if they open it versus watch it. So
yeah, great question. Yeah, so when you're sending in bulk, to Frank's point, via note, if your contacts don't open it, then you can resend it. Task would go a little bit deeper since it's personalized video. If they don't watch it, then you can resend it. I'll come back to that.
And another question here, and it kind of deals with this. If a donor has previously opened from us, would it make a difference of it going to spam? And also, since our sends from our Outlook does that make a difference as well?
Yes. Well, two-part question. Yes, for sure. If you're sending via Outlook or Gmail, that's like one of the most surefire ways you can beat spam. So email reputation really depends on two things. It depends on your brand that you're sending from, your domain. So by default, Gratavid's send from hello@gratavid.com right here. If you set up branded domains, then that will send from your domain. So for example, mercymultiply.org. If you've got that set up, that'll send from your domain. And so to answer your first question, does it matter if anyone's received a Gratavid and clicked it? For the most part, not really. If you set up branded domains, because now you're going to be relying on the reputation of your brand, of your organization. The second part of email reputation, so first part is what domain you're sending it from. The second part is what IP address is it sending from. And so think of this almost like the server that's processing and sending the emails. Gratavid has really good sender IP addresses. Only Gratavid can use them. They're shared. They're not shared. They're dedicated. And so that has a little bit of impact if your constituent has ever received a Gratavid from anyone and they've engaged with it. That definitely helps. But for the most part, we have really good dedicated IP addresses. That's not as an important factor though as the branded domain that you're sending from. When you're sending from Outlook, you've got your branded domain working for you. So it's sending from your domain, and you've got Outlook's IP addresses and Outlook's processing server. So that has a really, really strong reputation. So that gives you a really good shot of beating spam and beating Gmail. So if you're sending tasks, highly, highly recommend sending it via Gmail or sending via Outlook. Unfortunately, when you're sending it via the notes section, because you're sending it in bulk, we can't send through Outlook. They won't let us. So just know that it's a feature you'll have to use a task list to utilize. And some of you might be saying like, where is that feature? I'll show you that when we get to the task list. Last thing I want to show you on notes section is analytics. So analytics, you can click right here. When you click this, it's going to show your total analytics. So open rates, click-through rates, all that kind of good stuff. You might be wondering, hey, how is my open rate above 100%? So by default, Gratavid shows you your total engagement. So if someone opens it 3 times, maybe only sent it once, but they might have opened it 3 times, and that'll count as 3 opens. We default to total open rate because it shows a good engagement of repeat history. So how many times do people come back to it? How many times do they open it? How many times do they click on it? But you can flip the switch right here to show unique data. And so this is where if they open it 10 times, that'll only count as 1 open. So just know you can toggle between that. And then my favorite section in analytics is the recipient section. And so imagine you sent this to 100 people. You can come to this section to see, hey, of those 100 people, who's replying to it, who's opening the email, who's clicking the email right here. And then you even can see when did they click it last and how many times did they click it. So it's a really great way to see engagement. Transparently, Frank and I use this on sales emails sometimes. So if we sponsored an event, we'll send this like to everyone that attended the Blackpod webinar, and we'll see how many times they're clicking on our thank you Gratavid. So if we see an organization's clicked on it like 5 times or 6 times, we know they're probably sharing that. So they're pretty interested. So it's a really great way just to see how engaged someone is. And then another cool thing you can do is you can even download this list. So you can download it so you can look at it, and you even can download it to create a task template, which makes it easy for you to import into your task section.
You will.
Hey,
Another question. Is there a way to save a template in notes if you're sending the same text/email weekly, but switching out the video?
yes. Oh yeah. So that's really the benefit of notes is you really just need to set this note up one time. So I would have like a generic thank you for your donation or just a generic thank you. Kind of set that template up once, get your perfect messaging in here, your background image, maybe add some generic testimonial videos, and then you're going to keep reusing that template over and over and over again. Great question. So again, an example might be, here you go, new donation made. So I've created this template once, and then I'm going to reuse this note over and over again for a year, for 3 years, doesn't matter. Set this template up once, keep reusing it from your task. Great question.
And yeah, and you can switch that video out. So if you send it with like the testimonial video Will just showed, you can delete that video and then it's going to default when you use that in the future to the new video you put in there. But when you send the note, whatever video is in there at the time locks that video and that template in when it's sent, right? Well,
Not only when you're sending it in bulk. So when you're sending it via task, the task is always going to show that live note. If you're changing the video, I would probably just create a new template. So maybe have like new donation with Sherry's testimonial, new donation with Frank testimonial, and just create a new template for that. Otherwise, you could add the videos at the task level. So I think that's a good segue. I think I answered that question. So here's the note section. We just talked this. Really think of notes when you're sending stuff in bulk. So you're sending a thank you video to everyone that has given to your organization in the past year, or everyone that's contributed to the annual fund. The note is where you're going to send these things out in bulk. However, when you want to send one-to-one personalized videos, that is where you can use the task list. And so think of the task list just as a list of personalized videos you need to record. For example, you can see I've got Sarah right here donated 12,000. I've got John Smith down here donated 3,000, some nice donors. And then the way the task list works is you can add these tasks one at a time, click add right here, or you can add them from a CSV file. So this is probably the most common approach. What that's going to look like is you're going to prepare a CSV file that looks something like this, where you've got that constituent's email, in this case, the donor's email, their first name and last name, some internal comments, like why you're recording this video. The comments can be anything, your constituents won't see them. And then my favorite thing is you can add an assignee right here. So you can add an assignee after you import it or at the time of import. And then you'll take this into Gratavid and you'll simply just add this list right here. And then once you've got those set up, you simply can record your video. And then the way assignees work is I could just take these three, for example. Let's assign these to Jared, one of our development officers. And let's assign these to my executive director, Sarah AED. Pretty creative names there. Cool. And so now they can log into Gratavid. They can filter by their name, and then they can just see the task assigned to them. So it's a really great way to split the workload up amongst the team. When we built task lists, one piece of feedback we heard was like, hey, it'd be really great to get my executive director involved in the task list or my president involved, but I really can't expect them to log into Gratavid. Like I don't want to have to train them. And so now we have something called assignee links. And so instead of Jared having to log in, or let's use my executive director, it's a better example. Instead of having my executive director having to log into Gratavid, what I can do is I can use their assignee link right here. So if I click this assignee link, I can copy and paste this URL. I can share that directly with my executive director or whoever I'm sending these video requests to. And then right from their computer or phone, without having to log into Gratavid, they can record their list of personalized videos. They click start now. And then the way this works is it's going to show the comments right there of your task. So if you want to include that donor's first name and their last name and their giving history, just include it in the comments. And then by default, we're just going to show that donor's first name. They can record the video, then they can go to the next one. So it's just a really easy way for you to record and collect a list of personalized videos from your executive director, really anyone you want to.
hey, Will, good question here. Can you assign the task to multiple people? And if one person completes the task, can it show that the task is complete to the other assignee?
You can only assign the task to one person. We've gone back and forth on multiple assignees, and it kind of got confusing as to know like when that one's done and what happens to the second person. So you can only assign the task to one person at a specific time. But what you can do, we see people do this a lot, is imagine you want a personalized video from Sarah. And so you can say, okay, these two tasks, we're going to assign these to Sarah first. And so we'll use Sarah's assignee link. So Sarah can run through these, she can record her videos, and then what you can do is you can reassign them. And so when Sarah finishes these, you'll already have a video in, so you'd see a video right here, but then you can say, hey, now we're going to assign these to someone different on the team, like how about our president? So assign those right there, and then you could share this link with your president. president won't see Sarah's videos, he'll just be able to record his videos right from here. So you can't assign tasks to 2 people at once, but you can assign it and then reassign it.
One thing, if you want to go back to the task list, so click on John or whoever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, click on one of, so okay, so you see John Smith here. What you actually can do, and it brings up a good point as well, add all your employees who plan on using Gratavid in as contacts as well. So then if you want to request multiple videos for one contact, what you do is, you click the request functionality in here. So Will hits request. You could go through and add those 10 people in as a request one by one. And then Will could just, because I'm probably in here, or Britt is, just type in Britt. I think
this is my test account, so y'all probably aren't in here.
But so if you are in there, or your colleagues are in there, then you just type in their name and just send it to them really quick. And so it makes it easy where you could do the same thing kind of as assignees, but you're just requesting.
Yeah. So essentially this pulls from your contact section. So if you know you're going to be requesting a lot of videos from Frank, add them as a contact, include their cell phone number, and then that way you won't have to remember that every time. You simply just search for your contact and add them. Great call out there. Cool. And then once you're finally ready to record these tasks, you can record it. Actually, one thing before then. So imagine I've assigned my task, and I could come in here and manually tell people, hey, log into Gratavid, you've got a task assigned to you. I could come and manually copy and paste their assignee link and share that with them. But recently we added this notify button right here. So you can assign your task. Imagine you've assigned your task to 10 people on your team. You can click notify. And then what this is going to do is it's going to notify those people on your team. And so then it's going to share their corresponding login link or their corresponding assignee link. And so that way you won't have to manually go in here, copy and paste everyone's name or paste everyone's link and share it with them. Cool. Then once you're ready to record, I'm going to come right here. I'm going to click record. It's just a normal task at this point. John, thank you so much for your $3,000 donation. Hope you're having a great day, and I can't wait to see you soon. John, thank you so much for your $3,000 donation. Make it a little bit more personalized than that, but y'all kind of get the idea. You can add one video right there. And then one of your questions, I think on the templates, Frank, someone said like they want to add a different video kind of as the generic video. I mean, one thing you could do is you could just do that at the task level. So add your personalized video right here, and then just grab another video from your library. And like here's one from Frank in a red shirt. So you could manually do it like that. That's an option for you. I'm going to click continue. I've added my task videos. Second step of the task is you're going to send it through a note. And this is where you select that note. If you're using like the new donation note, this is where you're going to select that note that's going to act as your template. Then this is where you can use that template over and over again. I'm going to select the one we just set up. You can see right there, it's going to default to the information in that note, like the sender name, the messaging. It's even going to pass in your merge fields. And then this is where you can kind of come down here. You can turn on texting if this contact was opted into texting. And then this is where you can turn on automatic resend if not watched. So remember, at the note level, we can automatically resend it if they don't open it. At the task level, you can automatically resend it if they do not watch it. So we go a little bit deeper since it's a personalized video. And I'll come right here and I'll preview this before I send it. And if you'll notice, John got my background because it's using the same template, the confetti, all that fun stuff. And then it's going to be the two videos we added on the task at the task level. But if you'll remember, there's that third video, which was the Frank request we did in his blue shirt, and then my video, and then that kind of uploaded video. And so imagine we did have those generic videos on our note and we wanted to show those. We simply click this little checkbox that says include note videos after the task video. And so now if I click preview, you're going to see there's all kinds of videos on this page. There's those first two videos from the task. Maybe it's that personalized video, that second video, and then it's going to go to that generic video Frank just recorded, my generic video, and then your maybe uploaded video. Definitely wouldn't recommend adding this many videos, especially if they're the same person talking multiple times. But it's nice to know you can add as many as you want. Without a doubt, the most effective Gratavid strategy, if you remember one thing, the most effective Gratavid strategy is the task list personalizing that video 10, 15, 30 seconds, and then sharing a more generic testimonial or some more powerful video as your second video. Hands down, that is the most effective Gratavid strategy. Awesome. And then I didn't sign in with Google, but if you did sign in with Google or Microsoft, then you have an option right here that says send via. You can either send it from the default Gratavid email, or you can send it through Outlook, or you can send it through Gmail. So I definitely recommend logging into Gratavid with Gmail or Outlook and then selecting that option right there. It'll look pretty similar to this. And then you simply just send that off. And then once you've sent it, it'll move it over into the send history section, where you'll be able to see the analytics right here. So this is going to be at the task level. You can even come over here, you can preview it, you can manually resend it if you need to. And then a really cool thing about task too is their analytics roll up underneath the note. So imagine you had a campaign where you're thanking your top 500 donors, and it's nice to see how each individual task performed at this level, but you want to see collectively how did this campaign perform. So you can look at the note section and look at the note analytics to see what was my total open rate, what was my total click-through rate, what were all my replies. So just know that the analytics will roll up underneath that note. Wowzers, I've done a lot of talking. Any questions outstanding? Frank, or any questions if you want to open it up?
And nothing in the chat right now. Just any like questions that people are like, hey, can you go back and review this? Let us know. I can make Will go back. We don't mean to go fast. Sometimes for some, it feels like we're going slow, and others we feel like it's going fast. So please just tell us to go back to whatever.
Yeah, big picture, there's really two things to understand about Gratavid. There's your notes section. Again, think of your notes where you're creating your templates and you're sending in bulk. And then your task is where you're going to send one-to-one personalized videos. So if you can really understand those two concepts, that's really the most important thing to understand. And then I recommend, if you haven't done it already, create some tasks, send them to your top constituents, send them to yourself, and you'll kind of get a flow for it. You'll get some of that engagement, and you'll start having a lot of fun with it.
So it looks like we did have a question here about tasks being assigned automatically. So if you are integrated through NXT, through Blackbaud RENXT, Salesforce, or Bloomerang, those three will automatically assign a task to someone based on giving. So Will, can you show just like the most high level of where those integrations are? If you do not have one of those three, we do integrate with Zapier as well. And we've seen people use Zaps through Zapier for Google Forms, for Eventbrite, for a lot of different things. Asana was another one that I've heard you could do Zaps with, but can you just show that in NXT really quick, Will?
Yeah. All right. So Gratavid integrations, won't go a ton of depth in here, but
please
just know that you can automatically create tasks and send Gratavids. So we have some direct integrations with NXT, Bloomerang, Salesforce, and then Zapier as well. So I'm gonna click on NXT right here, but it works the same way for Salesforce and for Bloomerang. What you can do is you can say, hey, when a new gift is added in Blackbaud or Bloomerang or Salesforce, take some action within Gratavid. So for example, you can say new gift added. I want you to automatically create a task, and then I want you to assign that task to Jacob President. So this means every single time a gift comes into Blackbaud, a new task will be created in Gratavid. Jacob President will be notified. Hey, click here to record a personalized video. You're probably saying like, whoa, that's way too many tasks. We can't do it for every gift. So the default rule is typically do nothing, but you can come right here and you can add a condition. You can say, hey, if that gift amount is greater than or equal to 1,000, then create a task and then assign that to Jacob President. Really cool thing you can do with this is you can automatically assign it based on that constituent's fundraiser in NXT. So I know this is available in Salesforce as well. You can automatically assign it to the Salesforce opportunity owner. So just know you can add these, you can even stack them. So if you can say, if the gift is over $1,000, and from a specific campaign. Maybe the campaign's like capital giving or COVID relief campaign or giving day campaign. You can add that rule in here. And then a really popular one we see, probably the most common setup, is constituent's first gift. So first time giving is really important. Create a task, just assign that task to my president. Second rule, if it's not someone's first gift, but they give over $1,000, then create a task, assign that to someone on my team. And then another really popular one we see is this, the third rule, is you can say, hey, if the constituent's total giving exceeds maybe $250,000, then create a task and assign that to my president. So I went through this really fast, but if you want to, we'll post a link. In fact, Brett, do you mind posting a link to our integrations page? You can visit our integrations page, which is just on our homepage. So for example, let's look at Bloomerang. You can click on our documentation right here, and then you can watch a bunch of videos on it. I highly recommend spending some time watching those. Feel free to email me. You can even send me a screenshot of your if else statements and I'll review them and let you know my feedback. But the really important thing about this is once you set this up once, it really helps you automate your process. And so you're not having to think about, did I thank that person? Did I not thank that person? It really helps you automate that process. And so then you can just work on building those or creating those great engaging videos. Last thing I'll show y'all is throughout Gratavid, you'll see these little question marks right here. So just know you can always click those and it takes you directly to our help center where you can get more information about that specific section. So if you're like, I'm on the task list, but I can't exactly remember how to send a task or assign it, click that right there. It takes you directly to our help center on that specific section. Wowzers, for the most part, I think that's everything today. Any last questions?
These integrations can be made by anyone on the Gratavid account or only by admin?
Only by admins.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Frank brought up a good point too. In fact, we've got an example on our homepage. You know, this isn't really restricted to just your CRM. So for example, we see a lot of people using Google Forms. They might have Google Forms on their website. And so what you can do is you can say, hey, when someone submits this Google form, I want you to automatically create a Gratavid task. And so then you can thank that person for submitting a form, or maybe they booked a meeting. So there's just a lot of cool ways you can think about, hey, well, how can we automatically trigger these tasks? So definitely check out and think through the integrations.
Awesome. Once again, thank you everyone for your time. Looks like we're going to give you 3 minutes back. Two quick plugs. First one, check out the blog. I'm going to say it again. And then the second one, there will be an email that goes, or a Gratavid that goes out because we are Gratavid about upcoming trainings. We'll have some next month, one on the 12th and one on the 13th. Next month, we'll do a deep dive on actionable analytics and the assignee links. So if you want to see a more deeper dive on how to utilize those, and then we'll do basic training again. But once again, feel free to reach out at any time. If you're stuck or you don't know what's going on, feel free to email me. I can try to help you out and unstuck you. So I'll pull you out of the mud.
I love it. Cool. Well, thanks everyone. Appreciate everything y'all do and appreciate you're part of this community. Reach out if you have any questions. Will at Gratavid, Frank at Gratavid, and have a great Wednesday. Yes, got that right.
Love it.
See ya. Thanks everyone.
Bye everyone.